Hey y'all, back again with another download that I got this morning as I am in the kitchen or, aside from the kitchen, making my tea. I just got this message and what I do when I get these downloads, if I feel like, this is a very important message to share, not just, this is a message not just for yourself, but to share to others as well. So, I get on here and I share these messages. And of course, it's going to be like a cross message between the YouTube channel and the podcast. Again, for those who want to tune into the podcast where I do more content like this, like spiritual downloads and things of that nature, check out the link in the description box below. That's where you can subscribe. You can subscribe in all the other places as well to the podcast. But yeah, what do people mean when they say you're not ready? Okay. Now, it could be as simple as what they're actually saying, despite, how human beings might be, acting now. Not everybody is, a liar or a manipulator or someone who just uses words to harm people. There are other people outside of me, of course, but other people who truly mean what they say when they say things. So there are going to be people in your life who have and who will say things like, I don't think you're ready or you're not ready. And they truly mean that with the most sincerity, with the most care for you and your well-being, right? Whatever that thing is, they're not saying this to try to deter you or anything. They just truly believe that whatever stage you are in your life, at whatever level, to where you are at whatever you're trying to elevate from, right? They don't believe that you're ready. Now, that could be an opinion based off of where you are, how they think that, someone of a certain stature should be, or someone of the next level should be or should look like as compared to what you look like or where you are. It could be a number of things. I don't want to go over the whole gambit in this video or so. I just wanted to take care of that aspect. But surely that's not everybody. Not everybody who says you're not ready is actually someone who genuinely cares about you being ready for the next level. Then you have the other side of folks who will say something like that. And, well, it's not that you specifically aren't ready. It's they're not ready to see you at your next level. They're not ready to see maybe a side of you that is going to be maybe someone who is making them less of a priority in your life because you are elevating, or you have, you're around other people, or it could be you're just not around them anymore. If you're still around them, again, they are not the main focus or the majority of the focus of your life anymore. And they're not ready for that change. And they're not ready for the change of now having to see you as someone who, probably is more than the little box that they put you in. They're not ready to see that version of you. And a lot of people, when they will say these things like you're not ready for this or you're not ready for that to somebody, right? Again, it could be someone who genuinely who genuinely cares about you and your well-being. But then you have the people who simply they're not ready for your exit. They're not ready for your next level. They're not ready for whatever is next that doesn't involve centering them. A lot of people move based on what is going to better them, what's going to benefit them. They will give you advice, they will tell you things, or pretty much based on what is going to be a convenience to them as they feel, instead of giving you the best advice that they can and should based off of, how maybe how they know how to do something, or based off of just your best interest, they're going to go based off of their best interest. And if it doesn't serve them to see you at a higher level or the next level, then they're going to steer you away from that. Now, again, I want to reiterate, that's not everybody who says, you're not ready. But don't take everybody's word as this is what they mean, okay? Whether they're telling you you're not ready for something or whether it's something else. People will say things because they're not the ones who are ready, right? You have folks who maybe are in your family, maybe in your friend group, maybe just in your community, your immediate circle, whether that consists of family, friends, whatever the case is, right? And they truly believe that the world is as big as, the little circle that they're a part of, the community that they're a part of. So they'll see themselves and they'll see other people within the community who they deem aren't ready to make the next step, right? And because you're in that community as well, they again assume that you're not ready to make the next step. But you might be. You probably are ready to make the next step, and you're making the next steps, and they're trying to say, nope, you're not ready because I'm not ready, and Jan over there is not ready, Tom is not ready, so we're all in this together. So if they're not ready and I'm not ready, you're not ready. It's really crabs in a barrel, mentality, if you really wanted to surmise what I was just describing. But yeah, like we have to be really careful when we are listening to people. I mean, really listen to people, but really when we're trying to take advice from people, or deciphering who is truly for you, who truly means well, or who's truly just speaking out of insecurity. Because there's a lot of that going on right now as well. People just speaking out of insecurity. People, again, saying things what will be more so convenient to them rather than actually giving someone the best advice possible, even if it is at an inconvenience to them, even if encouraging somebody to take the next step, if they feel as though they're ready to take the next step in whatever journey that they're on. If that means, well, I'm going to see less of you, I'm going to hear from you less, or you're not going to be here to do as much for me as you are now if you are to elevate or whatever. Those are the individuals that, you should never abandon. So even if you do make an elevation, every time you make an elevation, you should always think about those people that had your back, even when it was, I guess, inconvenience for them to not have your back. You should always think about those folks. So don't forget them when you start growing and elevating, right? But those are the people, aside from that, those are the people that you should actually listen to, that can help you keep you grounded. Whereas everybody else, again, don't listen to those folks. They're not in it for you. They might try to paint themselves as that. They try to make themselves perceived to be somebody who is good natured, someone who would not do something like this. And to give and not to shoot those people bail or anything or give them any excuse, a lot of people, I feel, are doing it subconsciously. I don't think a lot of people are consciously trying to hold people back. I do think it's a subconscious thing, but nonetheless, it's being done. And like with everything that is done subconsciously, if you give your time, if you give yourself time to actually sit and analyze what you're doing, it's no longer a subconscious decision. It then becomes a conscious decision. It then becomes, okay, this is what I'm doing. Yeah, people slip up here and there. It's part of having a human existence. But once you realize, okay, this is what I was doing, or this is how I'm coming off, if you don't make said changes, that's a conscious decision not to change. And therefore, that's why I say it's now not a subconscious thing that they're doing. They're consciously trying to hold you back by telling you you're not ready. Okay? So hopefully you got a nice message from that As always with these downloads, I will do a tarot read. I got something stewing and brewing in a pot in there. I might have to get up real quick and take care of that. Like I said, I'm next to the kitchen, but we will see. In fact, let me go check on it right now. All right, it wasn't as scary as it sounded. So the kitchen's not gonna burn down. But yeah, let's see what the cards are saying. Let's see what the spirit is saying. Maybe it's gonna reflect on the message I just gave y'all, the download that I got. Like I said, I was getting that, and I figured, this is definitely a message that is needed. I mean, it sounded like or it's looking like, I don't know what the rest of the cards are, but we did pull the Tower, which is the first card here. It's this is something that needs to end. Sudden changes, and it might be a dramatic, chaotic end. It might be a situation again where you are not surrounded. It could be one individual. It could be a group of people here, but even if it's one individual, it's that one apple spoiled the bunch type of situation where, the other people might be very well-meaning individuals, and yet this one individual here who isn't really well-meaning spoiled it for the rest of the group because they can't seem to understand. Again, going based off the message I was just giving, they can't seem to understand that people grow, people have their goals, and you viewing people around you as servants of you, whether again they subconsciously are doing that or not, that's what they're doing. They view everybody around them as servants of them. How can I benefit from their presence? And if someone wants to elevate, then if that elevation, if they can't find a way of benefiting from that person's elevation, then therefore, they're not going to want that person to take the next step. It could take one person or to do that, and entire groups are ruined. Friendships, families, whatever the case is, right? But we pulled two more cards, and we got the Moon here. The Moon has been showing up a lot. I did a read yesterday and the Moon showed up, and now a read today and the Moon is showing up. It's a lot of uncertainty going on. It's a lot of uncertainty, definitely in my life, I can tell you right now. And yes, my little Virgo brain is hating it. But there's definitely a lot of uncertainty going on here. And I think that although uncertainty, again, from my little Virgo brain, right? And it's not little, but you know what I'm saying? But like, from me, it's one of the worst things, not knowing what's next, not knowing what's pretty much not knowing what is next, right? But I think that, especially for me, I'm being told that there is a bit of peace, let's just say, in not knowing what is next. There's a bit of peace of just could be sitting back. I mean, like hangman energy and sitting back and assessing something and staying still, essentially. We don't have the hangman here, and I haven't seen the hangman. I've been getting hangman energy as of lately, but the reads I've been doing as of lately, the hangman hasn't been showing up. But nonetheless, I did get the hangman when I was getting the read for myself, We did pull the Four of Cups in reverse, though. But this is clarity. Like hangman energy, it is very much clarity. It's very much acceptance. This is that as well. So this is, hangman energy-esque, I want to say pretty much the same. When the Four of Cups is in reverse, it's like the hangman energy where, this individual is sitting there and they're not sitting there and contemplating on, well, I don't like this and I don't like that and stuff. They're sitting there and they're just accepting where things are right now. And it could be in this situation right here, again, when we have the tower, we start off with the tower, then the moon, then the Four of Cups. It could be a situation where it's like you really just have to accept how things are with, with this person or with this situation, maybe with this group or whatever the case is. When I say accept it, it's not to say to just let that shit slide, let the toxicity build up and slide. Like, let the rotten apple spoil the rest of the bunch. It's to say, stop making excuses for that person. Stop making excuses for why you're still, surrounded by this group. It could be a situation where it's like, yeah, but this is family and da 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 da. I feel as though I told myself I was going to talk about family one of these days, and I really do. You know what I'm saying? For the podcast listeners, I've brought up family multiple times. In fact, I believe last week's episode was about family. But I still have yet to fully flesh out just my thoughts on this aspect of family. I don't think I've done it on the podcast, and definitely haven't done it on the YouTube channel yet. But what I will say here in regards to that, because I don't want to make it any longer than it needs to be, is that you always have a choice. Like, they have a choice. They being your family, they being whoever, right? They have a choice. If they're going to choose to continue to be, live a lifestyle or be the type of individual that's not conducive to themselves or to members of the family, that is a choice. Now let's focus on you, since you're the one here, right? You have a choice on whether you want to continue to deal with that or not. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not going to label a choice as good, bad, whatever. It's your choice. I'm just going to label it as a choice. You have a choice, though, at the end of the day. That's all I want you to know, is you have the power to, if there's any situation to where, it's not your ideal situation, you have the power to make it ideal. But to sit around and, expect the answers to just be given to you by a reader, or, expect things to just change or whatever the case is, that's just another, I guess, message that showed up here that was kind of, not planned or anything. None of this stuff is planned. Again, I get the downloads, I read the cards, whatever shows up, and like I said, we have the tower here, we have the moon that showed up, and then we have the Four of Cups in reverse that showed up. Pretty much, again, just to reiterate what this message is here with these three cards, at least, is accepting something has to end, accepting these people or this person for who they are, right? Sitting back, essentially, and assessing the situation. Not more so with the idea of I have to do something next, because, again, the moon is uncertainty, the moon is complexity. And then, again, you are still being guided to sit back and just accept things for what they are, right? When you give when you give yourself time to sit down, essentially, and just assess things, I think in that moment is when you're going to find the answers, eventually, that you're looking for. If you are looking for answers, if you're looking for, what's the next step, then it's going to have to take you to some time to sit down. Instead of trying to make some next moves. But let's see what the Oracle says. Let's see what the Oracle says. If you're enjoying this video right now, you're getting something of value, please hit that like. Subscribe if you're not subscribed as well. Share this video, all that good stuff. The Oracle card that we got today is Seed of Potential. Again, a typo, because it says pant the seed, but I believe they meant plant. There's an L missing, so I'm going to say plant. Plant the seed of potential and nurture its sprouting promise with your attention and care. So pretty much, it's like, yeah, I still would advise you to not make many drastic moves, but there seems as though there is an idea that you have. Maybe something you wanted, some next level you wanted to partake in, right? And you haven't. I feel as though I'm speaking to someone who hasn't, because again, they're listening to the people in their ear telling them that they're not ready to take said next step. Well, it's time to plant that seed. It's time to plant that seed, even if if it seems like a small step. It all seems small until you see trees outside, until you see, plants and all this, everything that started, every organism that's, started, every plant and stuff that started as a seed was once just a seed. Over time, over nurture, over all of that stuff, that's when it grew to be whatever, beautiful thing that we see today. So, yeah, take that next step. And again, if people are telling you not to do so, you really have to question their motives. Are they truly saying that because they truly just don't want to see you fail or are afraid to see you fail? And even in situations like that, not to ramble on too much, but even in situations like that, you only know if you're, ready for something if you truly, one, if you feel it, but also if you truly are, make that step. It's like rollerblading. It's like riding a bike. It's eventually, that you're ready to do it, or you're ready to do it without this training wheels or whatever, or rollerblading without someone holding someone on both sides of your arms guiding you. When you actually go out and do it, you might go out and you might fall a couple times on the bike, on the blade, skateboarding, whatever the case is, right? These are all summer analogies, and I wish we could, I wish it was summertime. But no, like for real, like these are all things that you don't really know you can do it until you actually do it. But if you were to listen to somebody who maybe feels it's beneficial for you not to learn how to rollerblade, not to learn how to ride that bike, not to learn how to skateboard, you're never going to do these things. You're never going to learn. Or if you're listening to somebody who never wants you to let go of their training wheels per se, right? You're never going to know how it is to ride a bike or to go without the training wheels. So again, just really assessing who is really for you when they say you're not ready, and who's really not ready for you to reach levels that they're afraid to reach, or reach a level that they feel as though is going to not benefit them. All right. Till next time, until next video, whether that be a download or read, you'll hear from me when you hear from me. You'll see from me when you see from me. For the YouTubers, again, you want to check out the podcast, description box below. Podcast listeners, you want to check out the YouTube, that will be in that description box. All right. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And until next time, until next episode and video, y'all take care.